Hello, hello, Aneta Volcano here, a singer, songwriter, and a Bon Jovi fan. Today is going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to do my usual reaction to a Bon Jovi song. Today I'm going to be interviewing someone, mainly another Bon Jovi fan. Ta-da! This person said to me that he was at Wembley concert in 1995. And I thought, wow, that is super cool. Wembley 1995 concerts inspired me to do this video. I thought, I've got a fan who was at this concert and I love Wembley concerts. So I'm like, okay, let's put these two together, let's make a video and let's talk about it. Hello, Justin, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Yeah,
You
good
good?
to see you. Good to finally see you. We met on Instagram.
I think it was one of my videos of one of the songs, and I think you commented on it or something like that.
Oh
And
yeah,
that's
maybe.
here we are.
Yeah, it was you who actually introduced me to the song "Stick to Your Guns," right?
You're welcome.
Because before I met you, I've never heard about this song. So then I started listening to John's solo album, and I really liked Santa Fe. I really fell in love with that song, and it's one of my top Bon Jovi songs. And I know that yours is probably "Stick to Your Guns," is it?
I think because we did this before, didn't we? Did our top 10 and top 20
Yeah.
Bon Jovi song. My top 10 is probably quite set, but I say Stick to Your Guns is definitely number one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And you know what?
Yeah.
Today, before our meeting, I actually was looking for that list. I'm like, where is my list? Where's my list? I need to find it. Of course, I have gone through all the notebooks and I found it. I found the list. I thought, what is
Oh,
on my
wow.
list?
Good work. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still here. So my number one is Santa Fe, and I put as number two, I put Stick to Your Guns.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that was that. So from our conversation on Instagram, I can confirm that Justin is 100% Bon Jovi super fan. So even more, 200%. Isn't that right?
I just looked up the definition of a super fan, and it's a person who has an extreme or obsessive admiration for a particular person or thing. Well, it's about right. Yeah.
That's you. I know that you have a collection of DVDs. Is it from Wembley?
So there's the Live from London DVD, which I've got. I've probably got most Bon Jovi DVDs. I've got the When We Were Beautiful DVD behind the scenes of the 2007-8 Lost Highway tour. I've got probably all the singles from the 90s, sort of mid 90s to about 2005-ish. Because back in the day when singles had CDs as singles, they used to have, the track they were releasing about 4 or 5 live songs.
Yeah.
As well. So I've got a lot of those. Yeah, I've got a whole crate of Bon Jovi stuff.
Show me your T-shirt.
Have a nice
Jovi?
day. There we go.
Ah, yeah, I didn't see the bottom. I just saw the letters.
Yeah.
I've got this one. And
Very nice, very nice.
have a nice day on the back.
Very good.
I don't know if you can see.
It's a common message.
Have a nice day. But yeah, the T-shirt didn't have the letters on the back. It just had this. So this was my a custom T-shirt actually. I asked for it, but now I'd rather have it without this thing on the back. But anyway, too late.
I've also got some books. Shall I show you my books?
Yeah,
Hang on
show
one
me your
second.
books.
The House is Not for Sale
Oh, yeah.
photo album.
Sure. Yeah.
That was a lot of money. Jesus.
Oh my gosh, how much was it? 20 quid?
So more than that.
More.
And the Work photo album as well.
All right.
Photo book.
Yeah, good.
Uh,
Nice.
Basically behind the scenes and all that stuff.
As I said, you are a super fan. No joke.
Yeah.
No
Pretty
joke.
much.
I've got a collection of CDs. One day I went to the shop. Do you remember this shop called, what was it called? HMV?
Oh, remember those? Yeah.
They don't have them anymore, do they?
Not many.
So yeah, one day I went there and I bought about 8 CDs in one go.
Nice.
Yeah, because I didn't have any at the time, and when I saw, a lot of them were actually on sale. Like they were for like £5 or £6, £7. So I thought, yeah, let me buy all of them. And then I listened to to it one by one. No, I had some catching up to do. I haven't been a fan for as long as you have.
I would say being a super fan is not how much stuff you have though of the stuff. It's of the band you like. It's the passion, and you certainly have that. So
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Today, actually, I would like to focus mainly on Wembley, 1995.
yes.
I always rave about the concerts in my videos, and one day I told you about that, and you said that you were at one of those concerts, and I thought, wow, that was something awesome. It was also your first ever concert. Lucky you! I mean, first concert, and it was Bon Jovi, so great. So I just wanna get a feel of how it was for you. I know it was a long time ago. You might not remember everything, but just for the fans of Bon Jovi, for me, for everyone who's watching, how early in advance did you book the tickets? How did you feel before the concert? The anticipation. How was it from your perspective?
This was back in the days we had to ring up and pay for your tickets over the phone.
Right.
Had to ring the Wembley box office, but I kind of got into Bon Jovi around 1993, sort of keep the faith, and I'd missed the Sleep When I'm Dead tour by the time it came around, and then I got Crossroads. When did that come out? That might have been 1994. Crossroad.
Mm.
I got that around Christmas when it came out, and I just said, right, I have to go and see these guys. And then I don't remember how far in advance tickets were, but as soon as they were released, I said to my friend, "We're going." £25
Nice.
standing. I mean, what do they charge you now? About 120, I think. 100,
Yeah.
quid. Or what did you pay in 2019?
Oh, I don't remember actually. I would have to check. I really don't remember. Yeah, but something like that probably.
In fact, I probably would have been 15 when I bought them.
All right. What kind of tickets were they? Like, did you have a seat or did you have to go and stand?
Standing.
Standing. Yeah.
It's 27 years ago, so I remember bits of it. But I remember we just come out of the last GCSE exam at school because the gig was June the 25th, and we got the results in August. But the last exam was just before the gig, or 2-3 weeks before, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my friends said, "What are you doing in the summer?" And I just said, "Oh, we're going to see Bon Jovi in a few weeks." And he goes, "That's going to be brilliant," because they just do lots of fireworks and really good light shows and stuff. And that's when the anticipation started growing. But I didn't really know what to expect until I got there, really. So, because it's your first gig.
So, okay, now it's the day of the concert. So, like, were you working on that day, like, or you were studying? Like, how was it on that day?
So it was a Sunday.
Oh, was it?
Sunday, June 25th. So yeah. I don't think I had a Saturday or Sunday job or anything. I think we got there quite early. Am I allowed to talk about the trip and getting there?
Of course,
not
yes.
Yet?
Everything,
Oh.
yeah.
So we got the train down, I guess. I do remember in my mind it was a quite hot day, but we got to the top of the steps to queue. And in those days, that's a good deal because 80,000 people. We got there around 11 in the morning. I think gates opened around 3. In my mind, I got an image of being at the top of the steps, getting food, a mate going off to the loo and stuff like that. And we were right near the top, which enabled us to run to the front and get in the front pen.
Okay, I see. So you were there at 11 a.m.
About that, I think.
Yeah, and then they opened the gates at 3. What were you doing all this time? Oh my God, that's such a long time, isn't it?
Just thought standing tickets need to get as far up the front as we can, so get there earlier.
It's a devotion, really, because at 3 they only open the gates, and then you have to wait for the concert. What time did the concert start? Do you remember?
3 support bands.
And who were the support bands?
So it was there's a band called, obviously I didn't know. I mean, I'd heard of Van Halen. Van Halen were the main support band, so I think it started around 4, half 4ish. The first support act, I've actually got CDs of theirs, Crown of Thorns. They were so good. Very sort of 80s rock, early 90s rock. They were really good. And I've got about 4 of their albums. I think it was Ugly Kid Joe next. Do you know them?
No.
And I hate everything about you. Anyway,
I don't know.
that's as far as I'm going to sing on this. And then Van Halen and Bon Jovi would have come on around, it finished about 10:30, 20 to 11. I think Bon Jovi came on just before 8, maybe. I don't really remember Van Halen, but I really remember Crown of Thorns because obviously they made the biggest impression. Because I went out and over time. Obviously, I bought 4 or 5 of their albums. They're really good. If your listeners want to look them up, try "Are You Ready?" That's a good.
Are you ready? Okay. Okay, so we know the weather was pretty hot, right? Because it was summer.
Yeah.
And actually, you can see it from the videos that, it was pretty hot over there. Also, what were you wearing? What was your hair like?
So back when I had hair, it was quite sort of long and flowing and,
Uh-huh.
typical mid-90s kid. Uh, what was I wearing? I wasn't dressed for summer either. I had denim shirt, denim jeans, and I had suede boots. Again, very 90s, very 90s.
Yeah.
But I thought I was a cowboy.
Well, wanted. You were wanted dead or alive, maybe. But at the time, did they have that song at the time or not? Really? Wanted dead or alive?
Yes, yeah,
They did.
yeah. That's yeah.
Because you know all this chronological order. I'm still not very good at it, what was when
It's fun. Yeah.
and so on.
I'm here to help.
So 1995, I mean 1995 in June, I was just finishing my primary school. What did I know about Bon Jovi at the time? Really, not much, apart from their song Always and Living on a Prayer, right? So at the time when you went to see them in Wembley, you were not really like a super fan yet, were you?
No,
You were
no.
not. Okay, so you just liked them. You thought, oh, okay, Bon Jovi, I like their songs, but I'm not crazy about them. Was that it?
Yeah, it was. I liked them enough because I got the Keep the Faith album and I thought it was really good. And the Crossroads album exposed me to their, the back catalogue of hits and the earlier stuff. And I thought, right, I'm definitely going to see these lot. When I saw them, that was it, done.
Ah,
That was,
okay.
yeah, that was it, totally done.
Wow. And look now, you're part of the history. Wembley 1995. Everyone refers to those concerts. So yeah, you went there, and then your journey really started from there. Okay, so let's get to the real thing, the concert itself. So you're there. You've been waiting. Were you close to the stage, or not too close?
Yeah, so I mean, in those days you could run. So we basically got through the gate, because we were at the front of the queue. There wasn't anyone in there,
Mm.
so we basically just ran straight to they had us. They called it the front pen back in those days.
Mm.
What today's fans now call the golden circle.
Mm.
Uh, so it was just a bit that was sectioned off right next to the stage, and you didn't have to pay to go in. You just the first come first served.
Mm.
And we thought we don't really want to get squashed at the front, so we sort of stood at the back of that. So it was quite a nice place to stand, which is why I've looked for myself a couple of times on the DVD because you mentioned that the other day,
Yeah.
and you can't see me because I'm near the back of it. But
All
yeah,
right.
so we got to the back of the front bit.
And you had space for like jumping, because sometimes when I was at one of the concerts, I didn't really have space around me when I was at the front. The one in Poland I went to, where I was standing close, so I was pretty squashed. There was not much I could do, just jump with other people, really.
I remember, we could move around
Mm.
enough to, hands in the air and all that stuff.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, it was good.
So, support bands have done their job, they're gone, and now you're waiting for Bon Jovi. They're coming out.
It was Tico, David, Hugh, and then Richie comes on
Mm.
in his sunglasses, and they start playing "Living on a Prayer," and then John comes out, and everyone just starts getting going. Then, but I remember thinking at the time, "Living on a Prayer," wow. And obviously, you look back, and I think they've opened with "Living on a Prayer," maybe on a couple of other tours, but that was playing Wembley Stadium for 3 nights.
Mm.
I think they might have opened with it every night, but opening with your biggest song is a ballsy move. I like it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it instantly got everyone going. You look at the DVD, everyone just goes nuts.
Yeah, I think that's what they wanted. They wanted probably that
Yeah.
feeling, let's get crazy from the very first second, let's not waste any time
Yes.
for warming up the audience,
Bars up here, and we'll keep it up there all the way through.
Exactly. Yeah. In my reaction videos, I keep referring to Wembley, keep talking about their energy. The energy was immense, from what I can see from those videos. It's just unbelievable. It was like a magical night when you watch it from YouTube. How did you feel at the time? I know you were not a super fan at the time, but how did that energy transfer to you, to the people around? Because I can feel it. It was like a different concert compared to the other concerts. So For me,
Yeah.
it's like it really
It's,
stands out.
I lost contact with my mate years ago, but I remember turning to him when Living on a Prayer comes on, and obviously it's everyone knows it. And I just turned to him and I went, "Oh fucking hell!" Like we just both lost it completely.
Yeah.
A lot of bands, when they're playing gigs, they say, "Oh, this is a great crowd" and all that stuff. But you
Yeah.
could tell where John goes. He says something about Wembley Stadium, and he goes, "You've made these nights not only the greatest nights of our careers, but probably of our lives. And I want to thank you all very much for your friendship." And you can tell he means that.
Hmm.
And then obviously they found out these days went to number one, and you could tell they were already happy because I think was it Michael Jackson they booted out number one,
Hmm.
and then after that they played with even more oomph. It's ridiculous. So they're all feeding off the energy of the crowd, and at the time you're into it, but then you look back as the years go on, you think, geez, that really was a magical day.
And you were part of it. You were a part of it.
I was.
I always talk about John's moves when he was doing this crazy moves, and jumping and boxing and all sorts of stuff. I thought, what is that? Where did that come from? But after all you've said, that makes sense. Richie is just like in his element, really into his playing, and he's like in his zone.
And John was like a prize fighter, wasn't he? I think because he was, I'm ready. I'm going to take everything on and, let's do it kind of stuff. I just remember it being really, really loud as well. The gig was loud. The just like, when you go to a good gig, your trousers are shaking.
Yep. Yep.
It was that was the first time I'd had that. So I was just like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to be honest. When I went to their gig in Poland, because I was standing close to the stage and close to the speakers, I was really scared for my life about my heart because I thought my heart would jump out of my chest. And I was really scared. I thought, actually, no, I cannot stand it. I think I would have to move a bit further. The worst thing was during the support band. I don't know, maybe they had probably different speakers, different system, PA system, but it was terrible. I could not stand it. I thought if Bon Jovi comes out and they playing like this, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. But thankfully, their speakers were different, and I could manage it. But I did not like it. I have to be honest. It really scared me to death. My heart was like shaking, and I was shaking.
I quite enjoy that. It's all part of the experience. And if you're going to go deaf, you might as well go deaf to good music.
Oh dear, oh dear. Hopefully not. No, but this was definitely too much. I mean, when Bon Jovi came out, yeah, I could stand their drums and everything, but before that, oh my goodness me, I did not like that. I know that during their concerts there was a problem with audio, right?
I don't remember that.
You don't?
It's all a bit of a blur. Or it could have been one of the other nights, perhaps.
Or
Don't
maybe. Were they there for 3 nights? Or 2?
3 nights.
3 nights.
Yeah.
So maybe that was a different night.
23rd, 24th, and 25th. Yep.
Is there any song that stuck in your memory the most from that concert?
I mean, I've always been partial to Keep the Faith. Keep the Faith was about 8 minutes long, and it was just, you look at the DVD, and I've got a CD with it, with the live version of it on there. It's probably, to this day, it's my favourite live recording of Keep the Faith, I think. It's probably one of my favourite songs, probably top 5 song anyway.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of an easy pick.
Yeah, Keep the Faith, awesome song. You mentioned the concerts, like you've done a lot of them. You've been to a lot of their gigs.
Yeah.
And I wanted to mention the dates, but I don't seem to have them anywhere. So maybe you could tell us.
I basically missed one tour since 1995, and that was the one I didn't go to was 2011 when they went to Hyde Park. I think they went to Hyde Park and a couple of other places. So I saw them on the Crossroads 95. So 95 was Wembley, 96 was Milton Keynes, 2000 was Wembley, 2001 was Milton Keynes. So there's a pattern there. 2003, the Bounce tour in Hyde Park. 2006, Have a Nice Day tour at Milton Keynes again. Middle of nowhere as well. 2008, Twickenham, Lost Highway. 2010, first time I saw them indoors was at the O2 Arena. That was the Circle World Tour. 2013, what was that album? It's the one album I don't listen to much. It's got Because We Can and What About Now, and I know all the songs off it. I can't remember the name of it. And it went to that one. Then they didn't tour for 6 years, did they? Until 2019. why didn't they tour? This house is not for sale for so long. I
Mm.
think it was after Richie left, and then they obviously wrote this house is not for sale 2016, and then spent a while touring America and everywhere else. 2019, that was the last time.
Mm.
On average, it was 10 gigs over 27 years, so basically one every 2.5 years, which is all
Wow.
right.
Yeah, that's a super fan, people. That's a super fan. Well, my gigs started in 2019. Yours have finished.
There you go.
Mine have started. Yeah, my first one was in 2019, and then there was a second one in the same year. I did two, and that's it. Actually, no. What am I saying? Not the first one was in Hyde Park, the one that you missed.
2013.
2013. Yeah, this was my first,
Yeah,
but like the gig in the stadium was 2019.
that was 2013 one was interesting because it was the one where Richie had left mid tour.
Mm.
And there were some people around saying, "Where's Richie?" and shouting. No one really knew then.
Oh, that's a bit of a shame.
Well, I think by that point we knew he'd left the tour, but we didn't really know why.
Mm.
And obviously, it all came out in the wash a couple of years later.
Yeah, that's another topic. But my one of my last questions probably I want to talk about my experience as well after the concert in Wembley 2019, because I have to say that it had a really huge effect on me. Like it affected me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
After that concert, I really could not get back to reality. For a few weeks, actually, I was like, I kept replaying this concert over and over again in my head. And I thought, wow, it was great. I mean, I have to say that it was the best experience in my life. I mean, I had so much fun. I went there by myself, but I mean, I was like having the time of my life, really. I was just like jumping and dancing all around. I was so lucky because I had a seat next to the aisle. So I could actually go on the stairs, and had a lot of freedom to move around because there was no one on the right side. So it was just like recording and jumping and all over the place. I remember like two guys behind me. I don't know, they were from either Austria or Netherlands. One said, "Oh, you're really a Bon Jovi fan." I'm like, "Yeah, I am. I'm a Bon Jovi fan, yeah." And he's like, "Come on, I'll buy you a beer." And then we got to get a
Nice.
beer, and we had so much fun. And I thought like this experience somehow changed me in a way. Like I don't know, it gave me more power to follow my dreams and in power in general. It freed me somehow. I don't know how to describe it, but it really had a huge impact. And I don't know how a band or an artist can have such a huge impact on someone's life. They don't even know you. They have no clue you exist. But but they connect with the people, and their energy. I think it's the energy of the band, the energy of the crowd, kind of transmits onto you. And I just want to know how it affected you, or maybe not only the Wembley, but also some other concerts later on, because you said you became a fan, like a super fan later on. Maybe you can tell us how it affected you afterwards, like later.
Going back to the 2019 gig, because we worked out you were on the opposite side to me, weren't you?
Yeah.
You were as you look at the stage, you were on the right and I was on the left, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen so many interviews, John and Richie, about talking about lyrics and stuff, and they write stuff that resonates with people. Whatever you're going through in life, you can see something in the lyrics. Most of their songs, probably 90% of their songs, are quite uplifting and optimistic as well.
Mm.
If you're feeling down or something, throw a bit of It's My Life on or whatever, and they get you back up off the floor if you're in a crappy place or whatever. For me as well, it's just different albums, just at different moments of my life.
Mm.
Wasn't it? Is it Dick Clark? I'm going to rip Dick Clark off here and just say Bon Jovi are pretty much a soundtrack to my life, really. So I've pretty much grown up with them. That's about as fitting as a tribute as I can give them, really.
Yeah.
I listen to them probably most days. There's always one song that creeps in. Like I'll Keep the Faith on in the background at the moment, but listen to them most days. And it's just for me, it's just different songs resonate at different times. I'm into a lot of different music, but Bon Jovi is the one that always I'll come back to. That's my go-to for anything and everything, really. They make everyone in their audience and amongst their fans just feel important because it feels like they're talking directly to you somehow for the brilliance of songwriting. And as I said, it's a soundtrack to my life, and a soundtrack to my life for 30 years now. But as I say, I did actually buy this. I either bought it at Wembley Stadium or I bought it the year after at Milton Keynes Bowl, and it still fits. So that's that one. That's definitely that's definitely the Crossroad World Tour
Oh, I
one.
haven't seen that one. You wear it sometimes.
I tried it on the other day. It fits because it's obviously 25 years old. And I don't want to destroy it too much and wash it all the time.
There's always something you can pick out from any song that just fits your day.
Yeah, whatever mood you're feeling,
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
can just grab a Bon Jovi lyric. Even something like Damned, which is off the These Days album. That's probably one of my favourite songs. Was the lyric "Damned if you don't need me, damned if you do."
Mhm.
Been there. So it just everything resonates with a part of what's gone on.
It's
Yeah,
very relatable. Yeah, their songs are very
yeah,
relatable. And of course, they've got a variety of them, loads of them. So, of course, you're going to pick something for yourself, right? If you had to pick an album, one album, which would you pick?
don't make me do this. No, we,
Ah,
again, we've talked about this so many times. You look at New Jersey through to these days, probably because of stuff I got hold of them around Keep the Faith, and that's stuff I grew up with. But as the complete album, I'd probably say these days it's a bit different. It's kind of a deeper album, I feel as well. I'm not saying all their songs are hunky dory, optimistic, but they're known for their uplifting music, and a lot of the lyrics in these days are quite dark, but they still make it uplifting.
mm,
It's like, how do they do that? I don't, that's the gift they have. But
yeah.
probably these days, I think,
Yeah,
yeah,
for me, I mean, I'm quite similar because I've got three albums that I like the most: Keep the Faith, Slippery When
yeah,
Wet, and These Days. These Days stands out of all the albums, I think, the most because of this mood, this specific melancholic mood, I think.
yeah, it's very melancholy.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing, and I love the album as well. And I also like John's album, Destination Anywhere. It's like unlike any other albums I've heard. Really, like the vibe there is just something else. I cannot put my finger on it, but it's this
It's
melancholy,
quite,
I think.
yeah, it's quite desolate album Destination Anywhere, isn't it? It's a bit darker, a bit raunchier, I would say.
Mm,
Queen of New Orleans is a bit of a,
yeah.
but it's quite a lonely album. He's talking about midnight in Chelsea, walking around the streets alone and all that. There was on in the pandemic when John he was on his Instagram going back and looking at old albums, and he talked about Keep the Faith, and he goes, a lot of dark material on this. If I was your mother, fear, that sort of stuff. So you can see that as it's a bit more of a melancholy, darker tone to it all. I put New Jersey in there as well, just because it's got Stick to Your Guns on it. These days, Keep the Faith and New Jersey are probably my three favourites.
Mm. And one of the last things I want to talk about is the bond between Richie and John, because I feel like these two people are quite special.
don't,
you know.
don't get me started. This is going to end in heartbreak.
When I saw them on stage, usually on YouTube, because obviously I haven't seen much of them together, really. You saw them together many, many times. But when I see them, they just were meant to be playing together, making songs together.
Yeah,
they were meant to do this. That's how I feel about it.
and they always look like they're having fun on stage as well.
Yeah, complement
Again,
each other.
yeah, and going back to London '95, in the video, as you see it on DVD as well, where John announces These Days just gone to number one. Richie looks so happy, and he raises John's hand aloft, like brothers in arms.
Mm.
That's how I always see them. But people fall out, I guess. I've fallen out with friends before.
Yeah.
And then there's a live Stick to Your Guns on the internet. I think I've sent it to you before, 2008 in Stockholm,
Mm.
where a fan requests, "Can you play Stick to Your Guns?" And they're holding up the lyrics,
Uh-huh.
and Richie and John just do it they're just doing the guitars together,
Yeah.
and Richie's playing it, and John's like, "Slow down, man, slow down." And John's reading the lyrics, and they look like just having so much fun together.
Mm.
Oh, hey
Exactly.
ho.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, the life, it's life, what can you do, You have to do your thing, but yeah, it was something special. They definitely had something special going on. I mean, like you don't see that often. And bands break up a lot, people fall out as well, but they stuck with each other for so long. It's really admirable, I think. From my perspective, as a musician, I know how hard it is to find people you can get on with, because in a band you have, of course, at least 5 members, right? You need to complement each other. You need to find a good schedule, because obviously everyone's got their life, right? How do you meet together in one place and also get on with each other, really? And they formed such a great
Yeah.
band together. I'm really in awe, to be honest.
What was it? The New Jersey tour was about 256 concerts over 18 months or something, which was, I mean, young person's game, they can do it. Uh,
Mm.
but their tours were ridiculous back in the day. The amount of time they just went on for.
Yeah.
But they kind of, did they have to? I mean, they're probably riding the wave of Slippery When We Met in New Jersey, so they're a live band. Get out there and tour as much as you can. Nearly broke the band up in, was it 1990 anyway, didn't it? I think so. Let's not end on a sad note though. Let's So top 10 songs then.
I need to take out my list.
Well, mine's in one of my journals from about a year ago, so I can't find that. But I'll just do it off the top of my head. I'll need a pen and paper quickly.
When did we write it? Like 2 years ago or something?
It was at least a year.
So my number 1, Santa Fe. Number 2, Stick to Your Guns. Number 3,
Yeah,
In These Arms. Number 4, I Believe.
good choice. Number 4 was I Believe.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
interesting.
Believe. I love it. Number 5, Have a Nice Day. Number 6, This House is Not for Sale. I like it. 7, Always.
Yeah.
8, Keep the Faith. 9, If I Was Your Mother. 10, Living on a
blimey,
Prayer.
yeah, good.
It's too hard to decide the order. I mean, my top 1 is probably Santa Fe, but the rest I feel like it's out of order. It's just one of my favorites, you know. Something to Believe in. Dry County.
Oh, that was in there. That was probably in there actually.
It's on my
Something to Believe
list
in.
as well, but on my list of 23 songs.
I mean, I quite like, not in the top 10, but probably pushing top 20 now, God Bless This Mess, because it's quite a honest song.
Oh, really? Oh,
You
Bless
know.
This Mess.
Yeah.
Not for me.
You're in the video.
But it's a funny one. It's a funny one. I mean, when I was doing a reaction to it, I was laughing my socks off. Couldn't stop laughing.
His moves, yeah.
The moves were insane. I still remember that one. I'm gonna say to the guys watching us, if you have a list you wanna share with us, so you can come up with top 5, 10 songs, Bon Jovi songs. It would be nice to see, you know, compare who likes what. So that's it, I think. Yeah, thank you, Justin. Thank you so much for
Thank you very much for the grilling.
invitation. I was actually nicely surprised that you did accept my invitation to do this interview.
Always happy to talk Bon Jovi.
Anything about Bon Jovi, you're in.
Yeah,
Okay,
all good.
cool. So that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like my video, subscribe to my channel. I'll be releasing more music videos. They're coming very, very soon, so check them out and let me know what you think. Of course, very much so inspired by Bon Jovi. I'm not sure you can hear that in my songs. Probably in some songs you can, in some others maybe you cannot, but there are definitely guitars.